What's up guys, Guns for Newbies back here, and today we're going to talk about the Walther PDP Match Steel. This is a compact, and we're going to really dive into this one. So this pistol was lent to me by a friend of mine that I do USPSA with, and he really likes it in terms of a striker fired pistol. So before we dive into the shooting footage and my opinions and thoughts on it, wanted to thank everybody for continuously liking, subscribing, and just trying to push my content towards obviously the algorithm in YouTube. We get a lot of people that are returning and liking the videos, so that helps me be pushed out to new people to get new subscribers. If you like the videos that you are seeing, all of the pistols that you see on the channel are funded, other than this one, have been funded by me, which, you know, if you're looking to support the channel, then there's a link in the description of the Patreon that's going to help get more, all sorts of different pistols on the channel, which is ultimately my goal, but at the same time, it's going to help give back to the viewers at the same time, or I guess supporters at the same time. So I have some ideas for that in the future, and love to see those come to fruition. And as we get further along, that is something that is my goal. But in terms of the pistol itself, so this is to my knowledge, this is a 39 ounce steel frame compact pistol. So I have it slide locked just so that way you guys can see the pistol's empty. He has these, they look like Metgar mags, made in Italy. They probably are Metgar Walther mags, and they've seen lots of use. So he just has 2 of these, and he's currently over I think roughly around 2,500 rounds is what he told me, and the pistol is definitely a very good pistol. So this pistol can be found for less than $2,000, and it is probably the premium for striker fire pistols. This is coming from me. In my personal opinion, I have shot plenty of MMPs, plenty of Glocks, plenty of SIGs, and then I also have the Canik steel frame as well. So I wanted to see if I could get a more in-depth comparison on the differences, but it's pretty cut and clear. You get a good trigger in both the Walther and the Canik. This one seems to have a slightly heavier trigger than my Canik. Nevertheless, it is a very good trigger. So you'll see there, you get a very short reset, crisp break. It feels like, if I was going to put a number on it, right around 3 pounds. That's just what I'm feeling in terms of all the triggers that I felt. The Canik feels like slightly less than that, maybe closer to mid 2. If this is higher than that from what they rate, every gun comes in differently. I've had an MMP Shield Plus that was like right under like 2.5 on a trigger gauge. I don't have my trigger gauge anymore. It just never really saw any use. So we moved, and I don't know where it's at, and I don't really care to buy another one. But I got a pretty good idea of all the triggers that I've changed. And you know, that's the name of the game. You want something light, crisp, but it's comfortable enough, not too light. For me, that number just continuously goes down as I get into 2011s more. So this feels heavy, but it doesn't feel, it's got a really nice break to where I was able to shoot and actually get some tight groups. Now, one thing I was really focusing on when I was shooting this was how does it actually perform. So in terms of performance, it is pretty stellar for a striker fired pistol. It has a wonderful reset, which you really don't get on a lot of, you know, more ordinary firearms, I would say. Which this is to the Walther community, this is a pretty known pistol. A lot of people love the steel frame, and I can certainly see why. There's a lot of good things that this pistol features, along with a awesome trigger. You get the capability of being able to change out the whole entire grip feel by changing out these panels with just the simple change of the, you just take the screws off and this whole thing slides off. You can change it to a 1911 grip angle, you can change lock grips, you can change brass grips, kind of the same deal with the canic, which is honestly a very, very nice feel for a polymer style pistol. I wish more of them, or I guess a striker fired, not polymer, striker fired pistol. I think that a lot more people should adapt that capability, because it allows you to completely change and tailor that to your specific wants and needs. Also, with adding more weight, you're going to get a little bit softer recoil depending on how the ergonomics of your pistol are. So the gun shot really well. We're going to get into the range footage shortly, but the gun shot very, very well. It's been reliable 100% of the way. He had the polymer Walther before this. I think it was the PDP Pro, just the polymer one. And he had well over 8,000 rounds through that one without any issue. So then he upgraded to this one, and he really likes it. So he's on an adventure to get in the 2011 game himself, but we wanted to do a video on this one just because of, you know, it's kind of the premium of the striker fires in my opinion. So this is a very good pistol. If you are familiar with some of the rivals for 2011 supposedly are like the hammer fires like CZs, I think I actually prefer the trigger they have in this one much better. It's got a really nice soft, but it pushes. It's just the reset when it clicks. It doesn't force your finger back, so you can really ride that wall, and then you can really hold still on that break because it's so clean, and you can get a really crisp break. As you saw that I did there with a very weak grip and just bending of the trigger finger. So along with that, you get a very decent optic cut on here. It doesn't just completely sit over the top of the slide, which I like. They cut it in very deep so that even with the plate, it sits low. So you can see there's not very much room in between the slide and the bottom of the SRO. Obviously, the lower you get, the better, the less difference you're going to have in zeroing it at distance. So that's obviously a plus. He has had no problems with the optic plates. They're very, very durable. You're supposed to get one from Walther. He bought this one with his own money. At least he was, as what he told me. In terms of everything else, I believe he did a guide rod change just because he wanted it to be lighter, and there's an upgrade there. I don't know which one it is that he bought, but if that's something that you're interested in, I'd be happy if somebody comments. I'd be happy to get the answer for that and place that down below in the comments. He runs a Surefire X300 on here just for some added weight, and because he likes the light capability. He also runs a Tier 1 concealed holster, the MSP. I've had a couple of these. They're pretty nice for the versatility and just being able to pretty much use whatever you want. So you can run this with a Walther, Canic, 2011, you name it. So it's a pretty nice feature. I think these are ZRT base plates. He's had these on here for a while, and he does reloads with them all the time. They've actually held out pretty good because he shoots this gun for USPSA, and hence why he's trying to get into the 2011s. But all in all, it is a pretty fantastic firearm. So we'll go ahead and get into the range footage, and then we'll come back for some final thoughts on this, and I'll talk about some other key components here on why I think this might be a good purchase for you. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay guys, And now that we are back, we are going to talk about some other key components on why I think, from my opinion, this is a great pistol. So it comes in, I think this pistol is roughly between $1,500 to $2,000, depending on where you find it. And that's really a bargain for all you get if you really just consider the fact it comes with great texture. It has some great cuts here for the front for grip, so you don't need like a stipple job or anything like that. And even if you did want to get some different inserts to test around, they're about $80. You can even get lock grips, which I have a lot of experience with lock grips. They're some of the best grips that you can buy aftermarket for these panels. So that is great. And personally, this one that you get from the factory, I believe this is the one that you get from the factory, it has a really nice groove in here, so you can just see I can really lock that pistol in, so that way when you're shooting and you index out, you can lock the pistol forward and it's not recoiling horribly. So that is very nice. You're going to get a very good trigger. It was significantly heavier, if I remember, when he first got it, but it's broken in very nice. It definitely rivals the Canik steel frame, which we all know that Caniks have great triggers for striker fire in regards to striker fire triggers, in comparison to like everything else that comes in significantly around that price range. It comes already with that great trigger. I like the steel frame's recoil pattern. It definitely seems to return very well. He has a double port comp on here, but even before that, it just shot quite a bit. It did shoot harder, and you definitely could feel the bore axis, but it definitely had a decent return in terms of that. And so you get just a lot out of the box, especially with the optic cut. You get just a lot of, also you get a really good track record of people who have these pistols. There's actually a lot of people who shoot these and carry optics in USPSA. He's kind of the anomaly because he has the port, so he's an open, which isn't really helping him because a lot of the people that are competing there have like these big tubes, and they'll typically have some of them. I think MBX has. I don't have any MBX, but to my knowledge, they can hold 29 to 30 rounds. So you get a stage that's like 25, 26 rounds, and you have this guy, and I don't even know what this holds, but it's not 25 or 26. I'll tell you that right now. You're going to have to do a reload. They won't. They also have a flatter shooting, faster reciprocating gun. But nevertheless, in carry optics, where it's a little bit more level of playing field, this is kind of the 2011. This one seems to be a very solid choice for that reason. Now, another cool thing, before we end the video, another cool thing that I really wanted to talk about this is the tolerances on this guy are incredibly well. So I'm not sure if we can, let's see if I can do this without flagging myself on camera, but there is not virtually any movement on this pistol, left to right, up or down. I'm not sure if you can see that. You get a little bit in the front, just a tiny bit. Let's see if we can get that on camera. It just moves ever so slightly. So the tolerances are really good, which is going to help you for accuracy purposes. The barrel lockup is really good for his compensated barrel. The OEM one was good as well. However, that doesn't really, that's something secondary, I suppose. The really what to write home is all the controls, all the quality, all the quality that they put in this pistol really does make it a solid option for a striker-fired pistol. He's had very little to really no wear at all on it. He daily carries it and shoots it for USPSA and puts a lot of rounds through it when we go to the range, and he brings it with him. So this gun definitely sees its use. And I would say if you're looking for something and your budget was around $2,000 or less, I would say this would be an excellent contender. So I definitely would say this would be something that you should at least go to the range and see if you could fire it and see if you like the higher bore axis. And I think it's just the way that it doesn't really have the highest bore axis in terms of like where the bottom of the slide reciprocates, because it's like barely above your hand, but it's the total way that they shape the slide that makes it kind of get that, recoil sensation that some people dislike, at least to my knowledge. So as far as that goes, I still think it's a fantastic firearm. The bore axis doesn't scare me personally. I think that's more of like a astigmatism and a new shooter kind of thing, I think that whatever you practice with, you can be good with. There's some people with the SIG P320s, as bad as the stigma they have, that completely, really just kill it in the matches. And some of them have been shooting for 35 plus years, and it's just hilarious to see some people be like, oh, he's shooting a P320, and then he gets out there and he kills it. So all in all, I think that every gun has its own characteristics and personality when you're shooting in recoil pattern, which obviously it does. But I don't think that you would go wrong with wanting one of these, even as your first pistol. I think that it has a lot of things that it do. I mean, you could shoot this just at the range to get comfortable with it and learn about guns themselves. You could then transition into, you could, what I would recommend, as opposed to going with the compact, I would go with the full 5-inch slide. Go with the full size, and then I think it's only a couple ounces heavier. And then you would also have a little bit more weight under the dust cover. You'd able to have a full flush mount, surefire, and then but as far as purposes go, you'd be able to take it to the range. You'd be able to use it for home defense. You'd be able to use it for a plethora of reasons. Also, and you could use that in limited optic or carry optic if you want to take off the mag well. So because it's not at the limit, I think it's like something really high for the guns, like 59 ounces or something, I think in carry optics. So I don't believe there's a weight restriction in limited optics, but it definitely would open the gate for you to expand all those avenues. See if that's even something you want to do. Some people don't like USPSA. It is a lot of running. There are a lot of rules. It is not a very easy sport whatsoever. But if you wanted to get into that, the full-size one, in my opinion, would be a fantastic option for you to choose that avenue, along with having a very reliable gun that would last a very long time. We have people that have well over 50, 60,000 plus rounds through these guns, and they function just fine. They're still shooting them as I'm making this video. So all in all, I will say this is a definitely great purchase for the price you get, the capability it has, and then you kind of get your own little league out of it too if you're in the carry optic situation. And all you have to do is take off the mag well. You definitely get into a couple different categories that are pretty cool. And the nice thing is, when you're competing in those categories, you don't got to worry about people that are just kind of breaking it back down to having a super crazy gun that are going to, it's not that experience is really what you need to be after. There's people with Canics that, in these guns that have done better than, me, even with my open gun. So it's not like it's all 100% about the gun. I'm just saying I think this is a fantastic option where you to be looking to get a gun that would help you do multiple things, with that being, range use, match use, home defense, so on and so forth. And if you're brave enough, you can even carry it because that's kind of what is going on here. So as you see, this guy's pretty heavy for me, but for those who are not afraid, all more power to you. So thanks so much for watching. We'll continue with a new video next week. I'm going to try to, instead of announcing it at the end of the video, I'm going to try to start posting that week on Monday what's coming for Friday. I'm going to try to post every Friday just because we have some things that are changing up my lineup, so it's just messing me up at the end of the videos and knowing what I'm going to say. So because it's all, I just say all this right off the top of my head, so keep that in mind. Just stay tuned for next week and we'll keep going with the content, but just try to check back in on Monday. I try to post it just to the channel posts, and so that way you guys know what's going on. Thank you so much for watching.